Good morning. Good morning. It is a good day for you, and God has made this day, therefore it is good. And if you do not believe that, then just wait. I hope to have something good for you here. And if you're having a rough day and you're watching this, I really want your day to go better. So I'm going to try to make it better here. But in the end, attitude is everything. So let's start off with some tea for tech. All right. So if you're wondering about this mug, it is a mug that my wife says is a little bit too feminine for me, but it is the largest one we have in the house. So it holds the most tea, and so I go for it. And if you want to hear why I drink tea and not coffee, like most tech people drink tea or coffee, I mean, that's the way I always did it. You let me know and I'll do something about that. But here we go. Today, we're going to talk about something that might hit home with you. And if it doesn't hit home right now, it will in a few years. Here it is. It is ageism. All right. And so ageism, what is ageism? Well, it is an ism. It's a belief that someone of a bigger age, a larger age, a greater age, that, let's say, as time goes on, we have skill or value, and this is time. Okay, it's something like this. So you can start off here, and this is the belief, pretty much, ageism. The older you get, the less value you can give to the marketplace, and that is ageism. That's just a belief stuck in that someone who looks like me with gray hair, or someone you know who doesn't gray as soon as I do and just looks younger, but you know they're older, they have more life experience, it's not as good. That's what they think. And so that is ageism. Now, I might do this. So let me change this. This is value. Let's say this is a block of gold. All right, this is your value, and this is time. All right, so how much are you worth the older you get? I'd do it like this. Okay, I'm trying to do a dotted line. I'm not jiggly, actually. I'm trying to do a dashed line. I would say this. That's also ageism. Okay? So the older you get, the more value you get. That's maybe reverse ageism. Okay? So no one ever really talks about, boy, we've got to get more older people because the younger people don't bring much value. However, I would present to you that is the natural order of things. In so many cultures, so many world religions, and for forever, the older you get, the more valuable you get. Okay? So why is this happening? Why is it that the older you get, why do we have actual ageism, which is the older you get, the less value you can give? In the tech marketplace specifically, there's something that's happened, okay? And that is that new companies, something's new, Agile, Agile is a framework that I work with, and you will be working with it in tech as well if you haven't already. Agile is something that connotes able to change. And I guess that's great, but being able to change projects and change the timelines and change, and you have 2-week sprints, and you're going to be able to change after 2 weeks. You can change the trajectory of the software that you're working on, the firmware you're working on, because the stakeholder says we're going to change our priorities. Okay, that and having new things and having new technologies, it kind of goes against someone who, put some glasses here, someone who is older, and it doesn't seem to equate someone who's able to change. I think that could be one reason. The other reason could be that when you're young, and I don't know how to draw this, but when you're young, you have ideas and you don't have a lot of things burdening you and weighing you down. You don't have as many responsibilities, so to speak. And so most of the startups, I'm just going to put Y Combinator. Okay. Or series. Not series. First round. I don't know. These are ideas. Y Combinator is a startup factory, basically. It might be older. I remember that. And, first round funding and all that. So these are associated with people who are in college in a really good spot to be able to start ideas, follow them through, stay up all night, do projects, get them done quickly. And so you're able to test proofs of concepts very, very quickly. All of this goes into why I believe, especially in the tech world, that there is a little bit of ageism. Just keeping my lights going here. My monitors are kind of my lights, some of my lights. All right, so these are some ideas I have. Now let's talk about defeating ageism. And I hope this is encouraging to you. I just got out of a small group session for a church, and there was a pilot there who said, age 65, you're done. They just cut you off, you're done. You've got to be out as a pilot. And I'm guessing that is because that is an average age where maybe it's the reflexes, there's some safety issues that the companies don't want to be liable for. And I'm sure it doesn't apply to everyone. In fact, every pilot I've met, and I've met personally in the last few years, I've met 4 pilots that I know of. For each one of these pilots, physically fit, able to, very sharp, and it didn't matter what age they were. And I know them in their 40s up through their 60s. So to give you an example of maybe another reason why in tech ageism is a thing, there's no date. There's no date on the calendar that says you can't build software anymore. We're not to that. Software in the way that it exists today it hasn't been around that long. So we're going to run into some issues, I believe, as people who get older, wherein companies will say after a certain age, we're not sure that we can trust the quality of your code. But I've never seen that before. I've never heard of it. And if I'm crazy saying that, I understand. But I'm trying to imagine where tech is going by saying that. Because other industries do have sort of cut off forced retirements like that. I really don't think that will happen in tech. So that's good news, if I'm correct. How to defeat ageism? Well, one of the things that being older does, and I will share this with you, and I hope it's encouraging. Look, if you're in your 20s, save this for later. Come back to the video. But also, maybe consider it now. If you're in your 30s and you're trying to switch into a tech career, and listen to this, because ageism is a thing in your 30s. I switched to tech in my 30s, and it's not yet been 20 years, but it's been many years. And it's something that I had to pay attention to. especially in the last couple years if I'm looking for a position, or at work if I'm trying to level up and get a raise. We need to focus on the things that bring us value. So, I don't know how to draw this, but one benefit that you have is maturity in life. And if you're able to understand that you just have more life experience than someone who's younger than you, don't take pride in it, but see how you can bring that up in your interviews in a way that's not looking down, because likely the interviewer, if you're switching into a tech role, the interviewer will be younger than you. And so you can use words like wisdom or decision making. There are other words you can use. I'll just put mentoring. So think back to times in your life when you needed some wisdom or street cred, or just some things you've learned in life that have come to help you in your previous positions, and bring those up. Bring up mentoring. If you're in your 30s and you haven't ever mentored anyone, think back to a time when you worked with someone who maybe didn't have as much experience either on the job or in life as you, and it helped that person when you shared information with them and when you taught them. That is mentoring. This is a hot word. I wouldn't say you taught someone, but I would say mentor. When I've been in interviews, and it's been, they can see on my resume, I've been around a bit. When I've been in interviews where it's face-to-face or over Zoom or whatnot, Google video, they can see that I have been around the block, okay? You can see I've been around the block. And so there is a stigma that might come from just visually seeing that, or seeing my resume, seeing when I went through all of my schooling and all that. So you have to understand people are on their heels just a little bit, thinking, oh, we want someone who's going to be a little cheaper, a little bit newer, just able to flex and change more, and all of those adjectives I put down here earlier in this video. So you have to combat that with some gracious challenging of that stigma or that stereotype. Decision making is one way to do that. You can bring up times when you've made good decisions and it resulted in value to the company. Here's my gold bar again. Okay? Decision making led to value for the organization you were working for. So these are some types of things you can bring up. Now, they're going to see, companies are going to want to see if you're able to mentor others. And so this is very important that you look for places in your resume where you can draw this out in the interview or in the bullet points if you fill out an online application. I'll give you an example, a story from my own life. And I was hired by a startup, and I had a great conversation with the owner of the startup. And he had received funding, several $1 million, to start up the company. And when he hired me, he said that I was to, I'll just call him Joe. I was to make sure that Joe was staying in line, and Joe was in charge. Joe was a PO, a product owner, and a project manager in the company, but he was younger, and I was older. Okay, I was older than him. So I was directly hired. I had a lot of rapport. I think I was the same age as the founder. So the founder hired me to keep tabs on Joe. And The founder never told Joe, that's not his real name, that I was supposed to be doing this. So when I would keep tabs on Joe and report back to the founder, hey, things are going great. You know, there was this one thing that he brought up that seems like we probably shouldn't be doing it. That the founder appreciated what I did. The result of that relationship wasn't so good, but that was why I was hired. So founders of companies will hire people who are a little bit more on the chronological scale, a little bit further along the chronological scale, so to speak, more trips around the sun. And sometimes the reason they do it is strategic, because they know that as time goes by, we all get more experience in life. Sometimes they want you to be in a situation where you can provide some wisdom and street cred for those around you at the company. That happened to me another time as well, and maybe I'll share that situation with you at some point. So, being hired because you're older happens. Do not shy away from it. Do not be scared. And your final takeaway here is ageism is real. You have to find out ways to combat it while you speak with people in screening calls, while you speak in your first, second coding interviews. If you have coding interviews, will you put on your resume words that denote wisdom, street cred, and also denote that you're willing to mentor others? Because that is what they're going to probably be looking to you to do. In my mind, I have a question. What if you're a junior developer? As in, you are just beginning to, let's say, just a junior front-end engineer. It's an easy role for me to remember. What if you're a junior, but you're not a junior in age? You're in your late 30s, you're 50, and you're trying to break into the tech marketplace. And you have on your resume that you want to be a junior. Well, you have to keep in mind that people still do hire people as junior levels who are older, and they look to bring stability to the company. But you have to do your job well enough, promoting yourself almost like a business, so that other people can see that they're not just getting a junior developer. They're getting a junior developer who also has been around the block and understands these other types of industries that you've worked in. Maybe that'll be a plus. And if not a plus for the place where you're applying, you have to be able to describe on your resume that you've mentored others, because they will want that as part of what they're getting. And yes, they may have to pay you a little bit more just because you have senior life experience, even though you're a junior developer. Food for thought. I hope your day gets better or stays really good. God gave us this day. Thank you for watching the video. Would you please subscribe if you liked it, if you made it all the way to the end, and put a like, and any comments I do respond to. Thanks for watching.